What is up, people? Welcome to the session. How y'all doing? I hope all of you guys are doing good and taking care of yourself. Please do wear masks. Do not go out. Stay home and stay safe. I really hope that all of your loved ones are safe and sound. There's a lot of tragedy out there. There's a lot of bad news. Kindly keep yourself safe. All right. So, anyways, welcome to the session, people. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because we have lots and lots of amazing stuff coming your way. So make sure to subscribe. So, welcome back to the Prodigy series, where you guys are all the geniuses, and we are going to be doing the first ever electricity session for CBSE 10th. Today we'll be starting off with current and potential difference. Now, this is for CBSE 10th Prodigy sessions, where we will be going through a couple of the basic concepts that you must know before we really get into the actual stuff. So basically, current and potential difference is what we're going to start off with. So yes, guys, we've already done a little bit of a bridge course in the previous session. So in that bridge course, I told you about a couple of things that you must know, that you must be aware of, that that you had to get familiar with. I had given you a couple of topics on that. So make sure that you go through the video of that. I'll show you that also today, but make sure that you go through the video of that as well. So these are the things that we saw. We saw that electricity itself, we have divided that into three basic concepts. So we have electric current, Ohm's law, resistance, and resistance in series and parallel. Then we have electric potential and electric potential difference. Then it's heating effect of current and the electric power and energy. So these are the topics that we're going to be covering in the days ahead. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel because we have lots and lots of amazing content and lots of amazing teachers as well. So guys, let's get started. So yes people, so these are the topics that you have: current and potential difference, Ohm's law, resistance, and factors affecting it. Ohm's law, resistance, combination of resistors, then heating effect of electric current and electric power and energy. So let's start with the first topic. Let's start with current and potential difference. Let's start with the basic stuff. Let's make our foundation strong so that as we go deeper into the chapter, it's going to get a lot more easier. So please guys, listen up very carefully, and I also have a challenge for you guys in the middle. So make sure that you stay till the end. All right, so let's get started. Charge and current. What is charge? What is current? See, I don't know how many of you guys have done this experiment before. Have you ever tried this once? Like when you take a balloon and rub it on your head and you bring it near a tap of water and you see that the water would actually take the shape of the balloon. Or if you've probably done this experiment, this is an even more easier one, where you take a scale and rub it on your head again, and then take some piece of paper and you try to bring the scale to the paper, and the paper starts getting attracted towards towards scale. Have you ever done these kind of experiments? I have, for sure. I still remember in 5th standard, I actually did this. And the first time I saw that, it blew my head off, all right? I was like astonished when I saw this. Now, here's the thing, guys. When you rub a balloon, or when you rub a scale, a glass scale onto your head, or a fiber scale onto your head, there are a lot of negative charges, a lot of electrons on your hair. So what happens is that because of the friction created, because of that heat energy, when you rub two items, there's friction, and because of that there's heat energy created, and because of that heat energy, what happens is that some amount of electrons that you initially had gets transferred to the balloon or to that scale. So what happens is that the scale or that balloon now has more number of electrons. And here's what happens, guys. When you bring that close to something, like for example, here they're talking about a wall, a completely neutral wall, there's no charge on it. So when you bring it closer, what happens is, because it has a lot of electric charges, and that negative charges and negative charges will repel each other, and like charges repel and unlike charges attract. So what happens is that when you bring the balloon or keep the balloon onto the wall, the neutral wall, even those walls are also made up of atoms and electrons. So what happens is that these electrons that are there in the balloon would push the electrons present in the wall further away. Why? Because like charges repel. In a conductor also, people, in the exact same manner, we have positive and negative charges. And in our body also, we have positive and negative charges. In fact, everything is made up of atoms and atoms, right? And atoms have electrons, protons, and neutrons, and electrons are negatively charged, protons are positively charged, so obviously they have some charges. Now, if I want to calculate how many charges does a conductor have? For example, let's say I have a wire of 1 meter length and I want to know how many number of charges are present on that. When I say charges, I'm talking about the electrons over here. I want to know how many charges are present. How do I calculate it? There is an easy formula for that. The formula goes like this, guys. Q, which stands for charge, is equal to N into E, where N is the number of electrons. So in order for me to calculate how many number of charges are present in a conductor, I must know how many electrons are present in the conductor, and then I must also know what is the charge of a conductor, which is nothing, charge of an electron, which is nothing but E. So E is nothing but the charge of the electron. All right. So yes, people, when those charges, these negative charges, when they start moving or when they start flowing through the conductor, that is what is called as electric current. When these negative charges move from one point to another, that is what is called as current. That is what is called as electric current. So the definition of electric current is nothing but the rate of flow of charge. When I say charge, I am talking about the negative electron, the negatively charged electrons. Electrons are the ones that is responsible for the whole, the shenanigan that happens. All right. So you see this, guys. So what's happening is that the electron, because it is gaining some charge or it is gaining some energy, it is moving from one atom to the other. You see this? The electrons are revolving around the nucleus. So what's happening is that when it gains some energy, it moves from one to the other, and then from there again it goes to the next, to the next, to the next. So that's how it completes one circuit, or it goes from one end to the other. And this is what is called as current, people. See, here's the thing, guys. If you talk about water also, when water is flowing, that is called as current. When air is blowing from one end to another, that is also called as air current. In the same way, this is what is called as electric current. And the formula to calculate electric current is nothing but I is equal to Q by T, where I is nothing but the current, Q is nothing but the charge, and T is nothing but the time taken. So the rate of flow of charge is what is called as current, and charge, as you guys already know, which is nothing but, if you want to calculate charge is nothing but Q is equal to N into E. So let me just, oh my god, okay. Unfortunately, I have not, yeah. Let's move on. Anyways, just give me 1 second, guys. Just give me 1 second. Unfortunately, I did not enable edit. All right. Sorry for that. So anyways, as I was saying, so if you remember the formula, Q is equal to nothing but N into E. So you can also rewrite the formula as I is equal to NE divided by T. This formula is also absolutely correct. So because we've already seen that Q is nothing but N into E, where N is nothing but the number of electrons and E is nothing but charge of an electron. So once you know that, you can calculate the number of charges in a conductor. Once you calculate the charge, you can also put that in this equation in order to find out the current flowing through the conductor. Alright guys, so yes guys, free electrons in a conductor is what is conducting the electric current. But here's the thing, guys, when you talk about measuring current, we don't just use the formula all the time. We use a certain device known as an ammeter. So ammeter is the device that is used to measure electric current, which is generally connected in series, that is one after the other. For example, you see this, there's a battery connected, that is 2 or more cells is called as a battery. So you have a set of battery connected, and then you have an ammeter, and then you have a lamp. So what's happening is that you've connected it one after the other. So after the ammeter, right after that, you've connected the lamp. So you connect the ammeter in series, that is one after the other. We'll talk about parallel connections later on, but for this one, guys, that is for an ammeter, the connection is done in series, and this ammeter is what is measuring the current flowing through the circuit. So again, guys, you can use, see, mathematically you can use this formula Q is equal to I is equal to Q by T to calculate it, but in terms of actual world, physically, we actually use an ammeter in order to collect, in order to check what is the current flowing through the circuit. All right, so yeah, people, that is what is the use of an ammeter. Now the SI unit of current is nothing but, see guys, I is equal to Q by T is the formula. Now Q is nothing but coulomb, T is nothing but time is nothing but seconds, SI unit of time is nothing but seconds. So coulomb per second is the SI unit of current, which is also written as ampere. Again, it is named after a scientist. So basically, in order to honor him, we have named it as ampere. All right. So in C by S, which is nothing but coulomb per second, or you can also write it as ampere. Now in your exams, guys, sometimes they might ask you which quantity has the SI unit of as coulomb per seconds. So don't just remember amperes alone, because sometimes they might, CBC will try to trick you in doing something wrong. But again, these are direct questions, but then they are like, they want to know if you're smart. We know that you're smart, but they should also know, no? Like the nation wants to know. So in order to do that, guys, please remember the coulomb per second also, coulomb per second, or it is also nothing but amperes. All right. So yes, guys, moving on. If you have to define what is 1 ampere, 1 ampere, the current is said to be 1 ampere when 1 coulomb of charge is passing in 1 second time. So that is what is called as 1 ampere. Now, how do you define it? It's quite simple, because you know that, see, again, I is equal to Q by T is the formula. So if you just put 1 in front of all of these three things, you'll see that the current is said to be 1 ampere when 1 coulomb of charge is passing in 1 second time. That's all, guys. So it's as simple as that. Now, for anything like that, when they are asking you to define it that way, just put 1 in front of the equation, put 1 in front of all of those values, and you'll be able to write it in your own words. As simple as that. Simple trick. But yeah, you can use it. All right. So that, my friends, is nothing but current. So again, guys, just a quick recap. What is current? Is nothing but the flow or the rate of flow of charge is what is called as current. Now, what is charge? Again, when I say charge, I am talking about the negative charge, which is nothing but the electrons. So the electrons are the ones that is responsible for the conduction or for the current. All right, for the electric current. Now, let's talk about what is potential and potential difference. What is the difference between this, and why do you need to know about potential and potential difference? Let's start with electric potential. See, guys, imagine this. Imagine I have a unit positive charge. That means one single positive charge at a certain distance, infinity. I don't know where the distance is. It's at a certain distance, infinity. Now, in order for me to move that from infinity to a point, let's say this point here, P, let's take this as P, I have to do some work. Okay, let's just take another example. Imagine this mouse is lying on the ground right now. Now, if I want to take it up and bring it onto the table, should I or should I not do some work? Absolutely. Again, I can't mind control it. I am not Magneto from X-Men. I can't do that. And obviously it's not metal also, it's made up of plastic. So even if I was Magneto, which I'm not, I cannot. Now, let's get back to the story. Topic. As I was saying, guys, so if I want to lift this up and put it onto the table, I have to do some work. In the exact same manner, people, in order to move a unit positive charge from infinity to a point, I have to do some work. So the amount of work done to move a unit positive charge from infinity to a point, to a specific point in an electric field, obviously all of this is happening in an electric field, that is what is called as electric potential. Now again, guys, I'll repeat it. Listen to me very, very carefully. I know that a lot of you guys will be wondering, sir, what are you talking about? What is this? What on earth is this? Listen up carefully. In the exact same manner that I have to do some work to move this from one point to another, in the exact same way, imagine that this now is a unit positive charge at some distance, infinity. In order to move that from infinity to a point, let's say onto the table right now, which is much more closer, I have to do some work. That work done to move a unit positive charge from infinity to a specific point, that is what is called as electric potential. Alright, guys. Now, here's the thing, guys. A battery that you connect does this. What does it do? It basically gives the electrons, gives the charges a higher potential, or in other words, it lifts up the potential, the electric potential that the charge has. So here's the thing, guys. As the charges are flowing from one end to another, so what's happening is that the charges are continuously flowing, right? The charges are flowing. So what's happening is that by the time they reach from one end to the other, they would lose that energy. It's like this. Okay, imagine this. Imagine that you eat something in the morning and you go to your school. By the time you come back, if that is the only source of food that you have and you don't eat your lunch, by the time you come back, you're going to be tired. Obviously, you're going to be tired. You're going to be so exhausted that you'll be like, first thing that you're going to tell your mom is, give me something to eat. In the exact same manner, people, when charges are flowing from one end to another, they'll also lose some of the energy. So by the time they reach the negative terminal of the battery, they have a lower potential because they have lost all that energy. So what the battery, what does it do? It basically it provides energy to the electrons, and what is happening is that the charges now tend to go to a higher potential by the time they leave the battery because of the because of the energy that the battery is giving to the charges. So what's happening is that they're now at a higher potential, and by the time again they come back to the negative terminal, once again they lose that energy and they become lower potential. So this is what the battery does. The battery basically provides energy to the charges, and it changes the potential so that the charges can keep on flowing throughout the entire circuit. So the formula to calculate electric potential, or the way to mathematically it is expressed as V, which is nothing but potential or electric potential, is equal to work done on a unit charge, right? So W by Q is the formula, where W is nothing but the work done, Q is nothing but the charge, and V is nothing but the electric potential. All right, so at that particular point P, whatever point you take, at that particular point, what is the electric potential? It is the amount of work done to move a unit positive charge from infinity to that particular point. That's it. All right, and again guys, if you want to define what is 1 volt, 1 volt is nothing but the SI unit of SI unit of work done is nothing but joules. SI unit of charges is nothing but coulomb. So joules per coulomb is also written as volt. Just like how when we talked about current also, it was coulomb per second, we wrote it as amperes. In the same way, it is written as volt over here, which is nothing but joules per coulomb. All right, and again guys, if you want to define what is 1 volt, 1 volt is nothing but the electric potential is said to be 1 volt when 1 joule of work is done to move 1 coulomb of charge from infinity to that particular point. That's simple as that. So here's the thing guys, this is what our battery does. So there's a potential, so it's very clear that there is a potential difference. Because of the potential difference itself, what's happening is that the battery is basically enabling those charges to continuously flow through the entire circuit, and that's how the bulb works, or that's how a fan works if you have a tiny little motor and all that. So it all works on the exact same principle. So there is a potential difference because each coulomb of charge has a different potential energy. At one end they have one potential energy, and the other end they have another potential energy. So at the negative end, it's low potential, and at the positive side it's higher potential. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So that is basically the first part of potential. Now one more thing guys, this is potential. Now let's talk about potential difference. So potential difference is nothing but, imagine I have 2 points now. All right, so imagine I have already brought from infinity to this point now. All right, now from this point P, I want to move it to, let's say, point number B. All right, where was that? All right, so I want to move it to point number B now. So in order to move this from here to here, again I have to do some work, or let's say that I'll move this from here to here and this from here to here now. So again, to move it from one point to another, again I have to do some extra work. So what is the difference in work done to move it from one point to another? What is the difference between the work done to move that unit positive charge from one point to another? That is what is called as potential difference. See, electric potential is the work done to move from infinity to a point. So from infinity to a point, that is potential. From that point, if I want to bring it to another point, what is the difference in work done? Obviously, to bring it from here to here, there's a different work done. To bring it from infinity to another point, there's another amount of work is done. So what is the difference in the work done to move from one point to another? That is what is called as potential difference. So the electric potential difference between 2 points is nothing but the in an electric circuit carrying some current, is the work done to move a unit charge from one point to the other. So everything else remains the same. Just that whatever is the the work done to move from one point to another, that is what is called as potential difference. All right, now here's the thing guys, to give you an analogy, what is the potential difference, or what exactly does the battery do is, see, here's the thing guys, the pump, imagine this, so water here is at lower potential. All right, has a lower potential because again, potential energy is nothing but the energy possessed by an object by the virtue of its the height from or you can say that by the virtue of its position of the height from an object from a surface. So here obviously this is at low potential. So when you have a pump, what does a pump do? The pump here, you can see that the water is getting carried to a higher height. So as it's going higher and higher, the potential difference also, the potential energy will also increase, because potential energy use what? mgh. So as the height increases, obviously potential energy is also increasing. So what is happening is the water from lower potential, the pump is basically putting it, or because of it giving some energy to it, it is getting into a higher potential region, and that higher potential energy again is what is creating the water flow. So in the exact same way, guys, the battery also does the same thing. So when the battery, when the charges are entering, it's at lower potential, by the time they leave, it is at higher potential. Now again, guys, here you can see that the electrons are flowing from positive terminal, sorry, negative terminal to positive terminal. So you can see this, that at the positive terminal it is at lower potential, and at negative terminal it is at higher potential. Alright guys, so that pretty much is what is potential difference as well. So the exact same definition. The only difference between potential and potential difference is that, see, in potential you bring from infinity to a point. To bring from one point to another, what is the work done? Let's say that I'm bringing it from infinity to one point and then infinity to another point. What is the difference in work done to move it from one point to another? That is what is called as potential difference. The formula remains the exact same. V is equal to W by Q, where W is nothing but the work done and Q is nothing but the charge. Alright, so that is what is potential, and the device used to measure potential difference is called as voltmeter. Just like ammeter is used to measure the current, voltmeter is used to measure the potential difference. And alright guys, that's pretty much it. We'll also be doing some questions, and yes, now I have some super duper exciting news for you guys. For all of those out there, this is something which is going to change your life, so listen up carefully. Now here's the thing, guys, you know the drill, you know about vPro already. A lot of you guys know what it is, but for all those who are new, let me just quickly recap what is vPro. vPro is nothing but it's our way of helping you guys out. Because here's the thing, guys, we know that you guys are facing a lot of problems, and we know that you are looking for a solution out there to help you solve those problems. We at Vedantu are giving you a guarantee that we will make sure that you are getting the best of the best education, and we are giving you that guarantee that you will definitely see an improvement as well. So if you want to be a VIP, enroll into the Vedantu Pro subscription courses, where we are giving you, where VIP stands for Vedantu's improvement promise. We are giving you a guarantee that we will make sure that your scores are improved. But on the other hand, there is something that you should also do. I'll come to that later. But what are the other advantages? What are the things? What is vPro offering you guys that you have to take it up? First of all, guys, you have unlimited number of sessions. There is no limit to how many number of sessions you can take. You have unlimited number of sessions, and each of these sessions are going to be fun-filled, obviously, because yeah, I'm going to keep cracking lame jokes. Yeah, and also it'll have a lot of quizzes as well, because I know that you guys love quizzes, and those quizzes will not only give you a chance to enjoy the session, but also give you an opportunity to see how good you are in that topic. It'll give you a chance to compete with the rest of the world and see how good you are in that particular topic. And yes, guys, every single session is recorded, and the recordings are also done so beautifully that even while watching the replay, you can take the quizzes and check out the leaderboard. Like, how cool is that? Even while watching the replay, you can check out the leaderboards and take out the quizzes. And yes, all the content can be downloaded. Every single handwritten note, every dot, every comma, every semicolon, everything is downloadable, so that you can refer to it how many ever number of times you want. And here's the catch, people. Here's the thing. Every single session, to ensure that maximum number of doubts are cleared, every single session will not just have one class teacher, but with the help of the master teacher, you'll also have the class teacher as well, who will ensure that all of your doubts are cleared right there and then. Because the class teacher will ensure that every doubt of yours are answered right inside the session itself. And yes, tests and assignments, we have not left it. You'll have some amazing tests and assignments which will give you a good idea of what you can expect in your board exams and your pre-boards as well. Lots and lots of amazing stuff with this. Lots and lots of unlimited micro courses as well, where we have some stress relief courses, we have breathing exercise courses, we have courses where we teach you art, lots and lots of stuff, all for free. And yes, crash courses also for your boards as well as competitive exams, like your for your Olympiads, KVPY. Everything, literally everything is covered in one shot. It's like one umbrella covers everything. Here's what you need to do, guys. Now this is one of the sessions that I just talked about, introduction of electricity session number 1. Please make sure that you watch this. For CBSE 10 students, make sure that you watch this one as well. So what you have to do is this, guys. This is one of the videos. Now today's video you're already watching it, so all you have to do is click on show more. So you have this option called as show more, right? So click on show more. Go to subscribe to Vedantu Pro right now. So what you have to do is click on this link. That's all. This link is going to cover up everything already. As soon as you enter the website, a 10% coupon code is already applied to it. So you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to remember the coupon code, nothing. Directly it's all applied. So here's the thing, guys. This is where you can choose which grade you are looking for. So you can choose, like, let's say that a person from CBSE or ICC 10th is watching this. So you can go to ICC 10th, or if you're in CBSE already, click on CBSE 21, 22, because you'll be giving your exam in 22. So here's the thing, guys. We have 3 things for you guys. Vedantu Lite, Vedantu Classic, and Vedantu Pro. What is the difference? What are the advantages? See, Vedantu Lite will have all the things that you need. You have live interactive sessions, test series and assignments. You'll have, you'll have doubt solving, in-class doubt solving, but there'll be no doubt solving outside the session. So here's the thing, guys. Outside in the Vedantu app, you might not be able to get the chance to get your doubts cleared. But again, guys, don't worry about it. In Classic, you can get the doubt solving app as well. So outside the class also, you can get your doubts cleared. Inside the class also, you can get your doubts cleared. Now, money is not a problem. You just want the best of the best. You can go with Vedantu Plus, Pro Plus as well. Vedantu Plus will ensure that your doubts are clear outside the class, inside the class. And with that, you'll also have a personal mentor as well. A personal teacher, a personal mentor for you guys to ensure that you are in the right track. Where you have one-to-one sessions with that person. He'll give you motivational sessions. You'll have a proper conversation. He'll be your friend. He'll be a buddy. He'll be your everything for the next 1 year or so. Now, what are the prices? Again, guys, think about it. 1 month course for Vedantu Lite is 2,340 rupees. Now again, that is after the 10% discount. It's actually 2,600 rupees, but automatically 10% discount is applied, so it will be 2,340 rupees. Now, the Vedantu Classic is around, again, the year-long program again for this one would be 27,449 rupees, again after discount. And for Classic, it's around 2,970 rupees, where the year-long program for that is the year-long program would be 35,999 rupees. And for Vedantu Pro Plus, that will be 1 month would be 4,230 rupees, and year-long would be 50,339 rupees. Now you must be wondering, so that's a lot of money. But think about it, guys. Let's say that you're going for the cheapest one. That's 2,300 rupees. Now for that 2,300 rupees, you are getting English, social science, math, chemistry, physics, bio, 6 subjects, which means that if you divide that 2,300 or 2,400, it's just divided by 6, that's still a lot less than what you're going to be paying outside. Think about it for a second. So every subject with that KVPY, you don't have to pay extra for KVPY or for NTSCs or for your, for your other relaxation sessions. Everything is covered under one umbrella. So this is the best value for money out there. I can tell you so much that this is the best value for money out there. So again, you can check out all the details, everything I just showed you. Now again, guys, what is Vedantu Improvement Promise? Here's the thing, guys. We are assuring you that we will make sure that your academic progress is on track. But if you feel like there is no improvement whatsoever, here's the thing. You will get your complete fee back without any questions asked. If you feel like there's no improvement, if you feel like you're not doing anything, this Vedantu class is not helping you, you can take your complete money back. What more do you want? But here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. There's a catch. We will give that commitment, but at the same time, we want your commitment as well. You have to make sure that at least 75% of the class you've attended, you have to give it a shot. You can't just take one session and say that, sir, it's not working. No, at least 75% of the attendance and 75% of the assignments as well. If you do this much, trust me, forget about everything. Forget about Vedantu Improvement Promise and all that. If you do so much, 75% of the class if you're attending, and if you're doing your assignments, at least 75% of it, your scores will automatically improve, people. You will automatically start doing better. You don't have to worry about anything. Alright. So yes, guys, here's the thing. If there's no improvement whatsoever, from whatever fees that you paid, 50,000, 30,000, whatever it is, you will get the complete feedback. Here are the batches. Go ahead and start enrolling right away. So grade 10 and 9th, 10th May was the batch has already started, so a couple of days has already passed by, but don't worry guys, the batch is still started. If you want, you can enroll into that, or if you want a completely new batch, you want to start over all the way from first, then 24th of May is the next set of batch that is starting, which is going to be pretty soon. ICSE 24th of May for 9th and 17th of May class 10th. For Maharashtra syllabus 24th of May as well as 24th of May. For JEE it's 10th of May as well as 24th of May, so 10th of May it's already started. 24th of May the next set of batches starting. NEET 10th of May, and then 24th of May the next set of batches starting. For ICSE, good luck guys. 17th May today is the new batch starting, so do not miss it out. You have the best of the best teachers, and you'll have the best of the best everything, and if there's no improvement, again, you take the money back. Enjoy. Alright guys, so let's do some quizzes now. I know you guys are excited for this, and I really like this GIF, so let's go ahead and do some quizzes. Now here's the thing guys, what I want you guys to do is very simple. Right now, because I'm not live, you guys can tell obviously, so I know that you guys are very smart. You would have told that, you know, in the first 5 minutes itself. So guys, what I want you to do is try to solve these questions by yourself. Put it on in the notebook or in a piece of paper, whatever it is. Note down the answers, or in the chat box itself, in the chat box or in the comment section. Please put it down. I would really love to see your answers. So go ahead and let's solve this. All right, the first question is this: the rate of flow of electric charge is called as what? Electric current, conventional current only, electronic current, or potential difference. The rate of flow of electric charge is what? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. It's electric current. The rate of flow of charge is what is called as electric current. The formula is what? I is equal to Q by T, which is nothing but amperes, or what? Coulomb per second. All right, next question: instrument which transfers energy to electric charges in a circuit is called as what? Which transfers energy to the electric charges? A battery, a voltmeter, ammeter, or a galvanometer? You know the answer guys, you know the answer. I am not going to say this. I'll skip this question, but no, I have to still give the answer. That's what they've told me. Anyways, the answer to this question is guys, is battery. A very simple, straightforward question guys. Voltmeter used to measure voltage, ammeter used to measure current, galvanometer again used to measure current. But you know, the smaller amount of current, the smaller amount of current is measured by using a device called as galvanometer. Next one: instrument which transfers energy to electric charges in a circuit. Okay, oh, sorry, the same question, huh? Because I'm a genius. Next one: a current of 0.5 amperes is drawn by a filament of an electric bulb for 10 minutes. The amount of electric charge flowing through the bulb is how much? Is it 400 coulomb, 300 coulomb, 500 coulomb, or 600 coulomb? That's a very simple question guys. Write down the given data, solve the question. I'm going to show you the question. This is right here. I'll try to solve it for you guys. So I is given as 0.5 amperes. The time is given as 10 minutes. So I'm going to convert this to seconds. So how much is that into 60? That's 600 seconds, right? So we have you're supposed to calculate what is the again the charge. So Q is what you're supposed to calculate. Now I is equal to Q by T is the formula. I is equal to 0.5, Q divided by 600. So Q is equal to 600 into 0.5, which is nothing but 300 coulomb. 0.5 is nothing but 1 by 2, so it's 300 coulombs. As simple as that. Voila. 2 minutes. No, 30 seconds. 30 seconds question. That's all it is. Next one: the amount of work done in joules when 1 unit electric charge moves from one point to another in an electric circuit is called as what? The amount of work done in joules when 1 unit of electric charge moves from one point to another point in an electric circuit is called as what? Electric current, electric resistance, electric conductance, or potential difference. You know the answer guys, you know the answer. The amount of work done to move from a unit charge from one point to another, what is it called as? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Potential difference. If you got that wrong, remember these words: SSPS. Shame, shame, puppy shame. Remember this. Don't forget that. Super important. Next one: if work done is in moving a charge of 20 microcoulomb from infinity to a point O in an electric field is 15 joules, then what is the electric potential at this point? Is it 3 volts, 0.3 volts, 5 volt, or 0.5 volts? Let's try to do this. This is going to be a little interesting. So here's the thing guys. First of all, the work done, okay, charge is given. Q is given as 20 microcoulomb, which I can write as 20 into 10 to the power minus 3, because micro is 10 to the power minus 3, it is 10 to the power minus 3 coulombs. And work done is given as 15 joules. You're supposed to calculate what is the potential difference or electric potential. So V is equal to W by Q is the formula. So V is equal to what? 20 into 10 to the power minus 3 divided by 15, 5 3 15, 5 4 20. So how much was that? 3 1 3 1.33 into 10 to the power minus 3. What? Oh wait. Okay, what we do? Where we go wrong now? Wait, no. How do I get it as 3? Okay, wait. All right. There are the formula itself wrong. Very interesting, huh? Very interesting. Potential difference is equal to work done on unit charge. They've written as work done is equal to potential difference by charge. It should be work done. Okay, they've asked us to calculate what is the potential difference. Guys, unfortunately, the answer given is wrong. If work done moving charge, moving a unit charge is of 20 microcoulomb. Huh. Huh. Alright guys, unfortunately they've given the wrong answer now. I'm sorry. Alright, so formula is V is equal to W by Q. Work done on unit charge. So W by Q is the formula. So work done is given as 20. Oh no, work done is given as 15 coulombs. 15 joules, no? Arre. Unfortunately, I did a small mistake. But what they did is also, I don't think that is correct. Wait, let's just try to do that. I substituted it wrong. 15 coulombs, 15 joules, sorry. And 20 into 20 to the power minus 3. Alright. 5, 3, 50, 5, 4, 20. Huh. That will be 0. 0.6. So that's 10, 6 into 10 to the power minus 4. Okay, and the answer is wrong, guys. The formula itself is wrong. Work done is not potential difference divided by charge. Work done is potential difference into charge. Unfortunately, this answer is wrong. Sorry, guys. Please ignore this now. Please ignore this. And yeah, let's. I'll get that corrected. Don't worry about it. So people, this is your homework for today. Let's try to do this one. This I want you guys to put it down in the chat box, in the comment section, later on after the session is done. So make sure that you put this down, guys. The question is this: a charge of 25 coulomb is moved from infinity to a point A and B in an electric field when the work done to do so is 10 joules and 10.5 joules respectively. Calculate the potential difference between the points A and B. Very interesting question. Now this is that this reminds me of there's this one thing that math teachers do. Throughout the entire session they'll teach you what is addition, subtraction, and in the examination they'll ask you integration. In the homework they'll ask you differentiation. It's exactly like that. So yeah, go ahead and try to do this, guys. Let's see how many figures you get this right. In the next session I'll show you how to do this. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for today. Thanks a lot for joining today's session. Do not forget to visit the link, take up the Vedanta Improvement challenge and see for yourself what we can do for you guys and how we can help you from our side, right? So that's it from my side, guys. If you want to reach out to me personally, you can always reach out to me on this email ID, anup.manoran@vedanta.com. So thank you. Subscribe to the channel. Do not forget to wear a mask. Stay safe. Stay home. I sincerely hope that all of you guys are doing good. Please stay home, guys. The conditions are very, very bad out there. Stay home and stay safe. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until the next time we meet, this is Anup signing off the day. Have a great day ahead. Take care and bye-bye. See you all, guys. Take care.